Right, this is our second video in our Louis van Gaal series. If you've not watched the first one, by all means, pause this, open a new tab, watch that, now come back. If you've done that, well done. Hope you liked it. Good, wasn't it? If you haven't, do it. Now, the rest of you will just carry on. Right, Louis van Gaal, we're now talking about him as a man-manager. Adam, he inspires great devotion and loyalty from his players. Is that something we'll expect to see at Manchester United? You spoke earlier of players like Hernandez getting on social media and talking about being annoyed with things. Will we see that again?
I remember when Fergie was about, and the reason he kept Hernandez so happy was he would tell them, like, you know, I'm not going to use you in the next 2-3 games, but this is your game. And he used to keep them in mind and make sure that they knew they were needed around the club. Now, if he doesn't need a player, he will tell them straight. I can't remember who it was. At Bayern Munich, I think it was. Can't remember who it was, but he told someone, I don't need you. And there was Riquelme at Barcelona, he told him, look, I don't need you. I'm going to sell you. Done, dusted. And Riquelme respected him for that. That's what we need. Manager that's going to come in and say, look, you're my man. You're staying. I need you. And all the players that don't want to be at Manchester United or aren't pulling their weight or, you know, are turning up unfit, Anderson, they're going to be shown the door. And that's exactly what we need. We need players to be scared. I said it so many times last season. We need players to respect the manager. If we're losing at half-time or we're winning and we're playing rubbish, we need them to be scared to go into that dressing room because they're gonna get some, and he's gonna do that. Look at Ron Vlaar. He was Holland's best centre-back. He plays for Aston Villa, and he was like Jaap Stam out there against Argentina, and he will get the best out of players. We saw our squad maybe wasn't good enough, but Sir Alex Ferguson always got an extra 20-25% out of the players. And he'll do just that. Can't wait.
Okay. Stephen, Adam just mentioned that he wants the players to be scared of the new manager. Do you think Wayne Rooney will get away with some of his tricks recently?
There needs to be a certain level of intimidation from the manager to the players. And with millionaire players that are on untold fortunes that we can only dream about, there's certain ways of intimidating them. And I think Fergie had it, and I think Louis van Gaal appears to have it. We're only going to really know once we see him working day to day. I have a feeling that he's probably going to butt heads with Wayne Rooney. And I think Rooney's probably going to end up being on the losing side of that. Certainly he will be on the losing side of that if that's the way it goes.
Dog, look.
Do you want to cut that, fucking dog?
No, we don't. We don't cut. We don't cut. We don't care about dogs. No matter what they're up to.
Shut the door.
And they're free to do it. Dogs can't shut doors, Stephen.
He's got thumbs.
So before we were interrupted by a fucking dog. So we've had to cut there briefly because of Stephen's dog. We're now back. It's in its kennel. It's got a bone. It's having a great time. Right, let's talk about Robin van Persie's special relationship with Louis van Gaal. Adam mentioned earlier that he pulled him off during the World Cup. Stephen, do you think we'll get the best from Van Persie this season?
Yeah, do you not remember how buzzing Robin van Persie was in his MUTV interview from the last game of the season? And he was saying, trust me, we're going to be on. That's because he knew Louis van Gaal was coming. Now, Robin van Persie sort of went missing, didn't he, towards the end of the season? Oh, a little bit of a strain and off to Holland and this, that and the other. That's not going to be happening under Louis van Gaal. They clearly respect each other and they clearly know how to work together. I think we're going to see Robin van Persie score goals like never before. I'm going to say 35 plus next year from Van Persie.
I think there's a balance there, though. Although he's got a great relationship off the pitch with Robin van Persie, he doesn't make him ahead of any other players in the pecking order. And I like that as well. And look at Sillerson. He got hooked off just before the penalties. And, you know, he didn't sulk. He didn't drop his shoulders. He was happy. He played greatly against Argentina. Yes, he got buried in the penalty shootout, but he still played fantastically well against Argentina. And I like that about him, that he has that relationship with players where they understand it's totally football. It's just business. I'm making the decisions because of the football match at stake. And none of the players take his decisions personally. I love that.
Going off what you've just said, you've just said there, Adam, that, you know, he does keep everybody happy. Stephen was worried that he might fall out with Wayne Rooney. Do you think he'll be able to keep this current squad of Manchester United players who've had this is their third manager in 3 years? Do you think he'll bring them together?
I think so, yes. I think the team spirit, I think everybody was against Moyes more or less last season. I don't think it was some players were against each other and it was fighting between the players. I don't think there's anything like that. I think some players will be moved on, and rightly so. You mentioned Wayne Rooney's not going to fall out with him. I disagree with that. To be honest, I think it's unfounded. Where you get
you're unfounded, Stephen.
I think like, you know, I think Wayne Rooney will enjoy playing football under him. He'll know his role, even if his role's deeper, or as we've seen Robin van Persie and Robin playing up front, if it's similar to that, I think he will play well in that role. So I don't see Wayne Rooney falling out with him. I think it just sells newspapers. Stephen's been reading The Sun, you know what it's like.
Stephen, he's trying to make you look a fool. Hit him with your response.
I love you really, man.
I just think Rooney's got that sort of personality, and I think Van Gaal might see through the hype a little bit with Rooney. I do respect Rooney as a player, but I think he's definitely on the downward slope of his career. And I think if we can get some money for him, and the issues that you've got about where he fits into whatever particular system, I think if any of the major players are going to go, then that would be Wayne Rooney for me. But the fact that he's English and the fact that we've just lost Giggs, Rio, Vidic and Evra from the playing staff means that we are lacking a little bit in leaders. So then...
Hey, Alison, on the flip side, don't you think he could rejuvenate his career as well?
Yeah, without a doubt, he could do. I just think Rooney is just... He had a little bit too much power under Moyes, I think. Moyes getting him to sign the new contract. And to be fair, he played fantastic in the early part of the season and was well worth it. But I think as a club, we would probably be better off without Wayne Rooney, despite the fact he's probably one of our top 2 or 3 players.
Okay, we'll end that bit there. Cheers, guys. Right, there's another video coming. Watch it.